Hi all, Hal here with more Star Citizen PTU edition. Anyway, as you can see, we are back in the PTU. You can tell we're in the PTU because we have no side bays. We only have the main bay in our hangar. And unfortunately, the industrial hangar has not yet gotten the XL hangar treatment that you've seen in the Revel in York, as well as I believe, what was the other one that did it? Let's take a look really quick, because there's two hangars that I know that have it. The Revel in York, and I think the AeroView have the XL hangar now as well. So last time we were here, we were talking about trying to get ships to spawn, and I was walking around on the pad and there were no hot points, no points of interaction for us to spawn stuff. They've fixed that for the people that were having the problem. So apparently it was something in the user file I had to go in and clear out. For the people who've been in the PTU before, I'm sure you understand. When in doubt, delete the user file. But yeah, so what they've done is we are now on 2.4.0i. Which is several patches later than the last video. They are doing a lot of work in the persistent universe. So anyway, let's show you what we can do here. So in your hangar, you find one of the interaction ports, just like you do for any of the swag that you want to put into your hangars. And it'll give you a list of ships that are eligible to be spawned at that point. As you can see, I've got a couple of different ones in here. I've been told that if you do not have a Gemini and you are in an XL hangar, so I should say a Starfarer, both the Starfarer and the Gemini are available for the folks that are in the persistent test universe right now. They have Chris Roberts and crew have said that this is going to be kept small scale, and they will be adding more people over time. So if you haven't been invited to the PTU yet, don't give up hope. They are adding more people over time. It's just we haven't been told how many people or how often. So keep your eyes open for any notices from RSI, and yeah. So let's go ahead and spawn one of these things. Let's see. Let's bring in the Cutlass Black, because I think everyone's seen the Cutlass Blue. The Cutlass Black is the default ship, and it's blocked until you get out of the way. Alright. So the ships use the same mounting point system, which a lot of people are not happy with, because that means things like the turrets, which are on the back, you have to figure out a way to get up there to change the bloody things. So as long as you are able to get close enough to the port, you can actually choose what you want. And if you have any type of weapons or any of the other systems you can put in here. Some of the things that you're not seeing is actually, I don't know if I have one in here. They really do need a search function in here. Lots of repeaters, distortions. Up there it is. I do have the tractor. So you can add tractor beams. You can change out your missile systems. You can change out the other cannons. There are gimbaled and turret options that you can put in here. So basically anything that you have that you can put on your ship, as long as it's valid for the ship you're looking at, you can add it. Like I said, the idea with the turrets, I'm not quite sure. Let's go take a look inside, because I do believe because I think they finally fixed it so you can actually get into the turrets again. Oh, nope. We have floating we have floating panels again. Oh, they've been having problems with items, just kind of like specific items floating around inside the ships, as well as inside of some of the bases and stuff. Oh, nope, that's the jump seat. Didn't want to use the jump seat. So one of the things that I would like to see them do is come on, I thought. Why am I not? Oh, what did you guys do to the bloody controls this time? They keep changing the options. We are in This would be flight. Right, so it should be Alt F to get out of the seat, which is what I'm trying. Let's see if it... How about this Alt? No. Oh right, that was wonky. I had to do a Control Alt F to get out of the seat. Okay. Great guys, thanks. Okay. Hi puppy. So that opens that hatch. Like I said, it's been a while since I've actually... Okay, there we go. So I thought it was that button. Okay, so we're going to try and get up in here and see if this gives us the option. So I was hoping that it would give us an option to hit the points from in here. But no, it does not look like it, which is probably a good thing. And this time Alt F worked. Yes, I know. Alright. Okay, come on. Thank you. They really do need to change some of the UI options as far as the buttons are concerned. It's too easy when you have things in close quarters, and this has been a long-term complaint of mine, especially in things like the Cutlass, because you have items that you can interact with, and then you have the buttons to get in and out of the places and to secure things down. But when you're in a situation like this where you're really close, if you're standing here and you're looking at that button, because if you come around this way, you're going to see the U's, and it's very easy to hit the wrong hot point. So, very well. Let's drop out it. Whoa. Are you not going to let me drop down? There we go. Alright, so and then when you have a ship here, if you want to change your ship, you just come back in. And it looks like I just crashed it. Alright. That's the other thing that they need, is they need another way out of the menu system in the case you have a situation like this. Alright. So let's go ahead and it's not even gonna let me. Alright, so I'm gonna fix this and I will be right back. Hi all, and we're back. And I have a puppy climbing up my arm. Hi pup, come on. A lot of stuff going on around the complex today, so he's a little riled up. So after I'm done recording this, he's getting to go out on an hour-long walk. Anyway, so what I've done is, since we're in the Revel in York, I went ahead and spawned in the Starfarer Gemini. Now, keep in mind, the Gemini is one of the Squadron 42 ships, and they are trying to keep it kind of under wraps. So what you're going to see is mostly placeholder stuff. As you can see, the outer frame hasn't changed a whole lot. One of the things that you do have is that instead of the harvesting system, there used to be an air scoop in the front of this. Because the Gemini is the combat equivalent, it's basically a combat tanker. It's something that you would take into a combat zone that needs to be able to do a little bit more than just defend itself, but it really is still a fuel delivery system. So you do have a little bit more in the way of defenses on it. You have, as you can see here, a small missile launcher. The cannons you see are placeholder because they haven't put in the size 5s yet. These will be replaced with the size 5 cannons once the models are into the game. One of the biggest changes that you can see on the exterior is that it's not all nice and shiny. It is actually with the muted green and gray pattern, which, you know, is supposed to signify that it's military, I guess. The funny thing is that some of the early pictures had a camo pattern on it, like a blatant camo pattern. So it was actually kind of funny because of the fact that, well, nothing is green in space. So I don't know what it's going to blend into. Considering the number of planets that, even in the game, that do not have a green environment, they probably would have been better going with something like, like a sand pattern of some kind. Anyway, so yeah, when you come in there, like I said, interiorly, there are not a whole lot of changes. As you can see, it looks like they did clean up. Yeah, so they did actually. Oh, they reduced. Did they reduce the size of this? Huh. Maybe they snuck in some updates, because this does look a little bit different. I'm gonna have to grab the other Starfarer now and take a look. So one of the biggest changes that you will notice is that they did change the engine cells. See if we can show you here. So the engines on the default Starfarer are the big round cannon looking things. On the Gemini edition, you have these much more advanced looking nacelles and engine pods. So I'm really liking the changes as far as what I'm seeing so far. What I would really like to see, though, is I want to see what overall interior changes, because the Starfarer Gemini, because it is a more heavily armed and armored variant, is supposed to lose some of its cargo capacity, and I think that they did. I don't know if they just changed the textures or what, but no, I do think that this is smaller. See, I will have to do a go into the non-PTU build and take a look. Maybe we'll do a side-by-side on it. I think I might end up doing that, actually. So what we will do, in the spirit of doing a side-by-side, we will come over here, center up as much as possible, and then we will walk in. We'll take a look here, and what I will do is I will splice in the non-Gemini version, and we'll do a side-by-side on it and see if we can, see what everything looks like here. Alright, so we're going this way. Yeah, because I could swear that there was... I do think that they have made some changes here, because we go right into the... Should be the... Yeah, the air. This is the hangar area. Airlocks for exterior. This is that port directly below the cockpit. These are your... Well, these will be your suit storage, your suit lockers. This entire area operates as an airlock. Sorry, my words are failing me today. And always mind your head. So, yeah, I'm thinking that this is a little bit smaller on the interior. Alright, so for the folks who haven't seen the ship before, we're now on the main level of the ship. Basically, that is your cargo area. And I didn't see any configuration nodes, so I'm guessing that we will have to have the cargo loader, which hasn't been added yet, and we don't have, obviously, any cargo to put in here. But the cargo system is supposed to use a configuration system very much like what you saw for the exterior portions of the ship, where you have those little nodes that when you walk up to them, you left-click to interact with them. The console that's here is obviously placeholder graphics. Eventually there will be a UI in place to do cargo management. I'm not quite sure what that's going to entail, because they've been kind of quiet on that whole thing. When you come up here, this brings you into the living areas, crew quarters. As you can see, there's lift access. Oh, look, maintenance access. The lift actually takes you upstairs. Can we... Hey, they fixed it. It works. Nice. There's also a ladder in case the lift is unfunctional, non-functional, I should say. And this is the actual habitation level. You've got the dorms over here. You've got the his and hers bathrooms. Not really anything to write home about. It is all very functional. And yeah, see, this is mostly the same. I'm wondering if you're going to be able to open, because it looks like you've got buttons here specifically to be able to open and close things. That's bench. Bench. So, if you were actually living on this ship, which bed would you want to have? I'm thinking number 4, if you weren't the captain. Like, if you were crew. And I'm thinking this one because this way, there's nobody over here on this side. I think this is probably the premier spot. And it looks like you might actually get the whole 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I guess everybody shares a locker. 2 people to a locker. And that's the interior space of the locker, which basically you have two flight suits and very little personal storage space. Alright, good to know. Alright, so moving on. Gunnery seat, which is actually functional, finally. Let's take a look at this thing. Now, the last time I was in the Starfarer, they actually had not put these... Well, the seats might have been here. But there was no interactivity with it. It's not a bad view range. Or range of view, I should say. Field of view. Not my style. There we go. So this is a ship that I'm thinking may be one of my primary vessels. It's going to come down to this and the Reclaimer, depending on which one I actually end up liking a little bit more. And they did change. It looks like they changed the galley up a little bit. It's a little bit more Spartan than the previous one, because I think there was an actual sink here the last time I booted this thing up. Lots of shiny metal. Alright, so... yeah, see, we've got all of your flight systems. I still don't understand why there isn't a chair here. But who knows. Oh, they changed the blanket. So you get the military blanket. In the civilian version, you get the rubber ducky blanket. If you haven't seen the rubber ducky blanket, I will definitely do a little spotlight when I do the splice in. Oh, okay. So, yeah, it looks like everything else is pretty much the same. A little bit, they changed the desk a little bit. For the civilian version, I don't think it has quite as much metal detail on it. I think it has some wood grain in there. Okay. And then you have, so, living quarters, elevator area, and then maintenance access areas. Now, the ladders in this are actually contextual based, so you don't have to interact with the ladders to climb them. You just have to get into a particular point with them, and they will basically animate you getting onto them. And as you can see, we're in one of the maintenance corridors. At some point, there will be, for lack of a better term, mini games where you'll be able to do damage repair. So if you're out and about and your ship gets attacked, or you take some damage from a rogue asteroid, maybe you get too close to a solar flare and you have to come in and repair things. Let's see here. Come on. Trying to remember what my crouch is. Should have been... there it is. Okay. So it's controlled to crawl, which is good. And then basically these give you little ways around the ship so that you bypass some of the security areas. So if you are defending the ship, you know, I thought there were supposed to be hatches on these, like you could actually close these off. So yeah, if you need to get into the ship, basically, let's say, you know, somebody's welded that door shut, you can come through here and go through. If they do put hatches in, then you'll have to deal with those. So it's not bad. It's actually a lot of fun walking around this thing. I think the most impressive thing is that they are not using magic spaceships. Basically, if you go outside the ship, everything inside the ship is actually contained within the shell space of the exterior portion of the ship. It's really, really impressive when you stop and look at exactly what they're doing. And this is I believe this is actually supposed to be the reactor room, the primary reactor room. Somebody keeps saying that this is the gravity generator because it looks like the grav gen that they have in one of the bases. But I do believe this is the reactor. Alright, so when you come in here, can we... Yes. And then, for some reason, I've never figured out, this is your primary engine, right? So, you see the back of this thing? When we were looking up at the top of the ship, that big thruster pod, this is the interior portion of that. So I'm thinking that this actually might be the real reactor, which feeds directly into that main thruster, and then if that is true, then this would be the gravity generator. But it was originally marked as the reactor room on the blueprints, so I'm going to go with the reactor room heading until they've updated the blueprints. Now, somebody said this is a very dangerous room to be in if the ship is in flight. Something about this whole thing giving off a lot of heat and killing you pretty much instantly. So, looks like we've got a little storage area here, maybe for like toolboxes or something. Alright, and let's head. This is to the back of the ship. We're in the aft portion. As you can see, that's the fueling array out there. Did they take the boom out? Interesting. It looks like we don't have the boom in this version of the ship. And then we have an additional turret here. This is the rear-facing bottom turret. There's one of these at the end of each nacelle. And as you can see, it is a invert seat turret. Yeah, so looks like we do have the platform out there. It's just an odd angle on the window. And as you can see here in the center of the screen, below being overlapped by the barrel of the cannons there, that's one of the windows. The hallway we just walked down, where you had all of those little ports looking out, that's the sister on the other side of the ship. And as you can see, there's another turret over there, and we are inverted. So, oh, very nice. Come on. There we go. Now, a couple of the other ships that have bottom turrets like that are being discussed to have an inversion turret, just like what you saw there. Hi, guys. So we'll see how that actually plays out. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I think that it is a good idea on the military grade ships. I can see the point of it in the civilian ships, but I'm not sure how I ultimately feel about it. Alright, so in order to get back, let's, you know what? Let's do it the easy way. Okay, so that's the hatch. That's there. Okay. I always get turned around in this thing. Okay, if that's there, that means the way down is going to be this way, right? Yeah, okay. Alright, so the only other place really to go at this point is the bridge, which is this way. So you have another airlock. This is where your escape pods would be. As you can see, we've got a couple of them here. This one's actually open, doesn't do anything, but very, very tight quarters in case you actually do need to use them. This is not a place that I would want to be trapped. Okay. They need a bigger escape pod. And then we come into the bridge. So you have a couple of different seats. I believe that one's the engineering. Actually, both of these one of these is going to be engineering. One of these will be probably like defenses or something like that, communications. You have your pilot, co-pilot seat, and then the captain's chair, which I will be spending a lot of time in, I think. And all you do in the captain's chair is tell everyone else what to do. So, perfect position for me, right? Come on, let me up. Alright, so this is the Starfarer. Like I said, I will go through, and hopefully by the time we get to this point, we will have the side-by-side as we walk in and just see. It, like I said, it does feel smaller to me, but that may just be a power of suggestion. But yeah, it doesn't feel as cavernous as it did the last time I was here. Let's see. Yeah, it does feel smaller. And this is the fueling arm that we were talking about out on the boom. So if you're out here refueling ships, there is going to be a mini game associated with this. I don't know if it'll be on the Gemini or not, because I think that they did change this. Because I could swear there used to be a panel right here in the center, and that was what controlled the refueling boom, which is not here. Okay, so I'm betting that is one of the changes then. I'll have to definitely do the side-by-side, and we'll do some cuts and see where everything's at. Yeah, see, they took the refueling arm off. Normally there's a boom that comes out back here a little bit further. So, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and call it here. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure you hit that like button, especially if you want to see more. If you haven't done so already or you're new around here, I do ask that you consider subscribing. The likes and subscriptions do help the channel to grow, but more importantly, it keeps you up to date when new content comes out. And, well, you know, it's just a nice thing to do for a YouTuber, so it's cheap, it's easy. You know, go ahead, hit the button. What's the worst that happens? Anyway, I hope you all have a fantastic day. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you do throw them down in the section below the video. I will do my best to get answers for any questions about the game or game content, including design questions. I don't always get answers, but I will do my best to get one for you if I can. Anyway, I'm out of here. I hope you all have a fantastic day. And as always, folks, take care and be safe out there, everybody. Oh, let's see now. What other ship? We can only spawn this one in here. I guess I'm going to have to go to the other hangars and start spawning the other ships. Oh, yeah.